You're listening to Worshipology with Kurtis Parks, a biblical, practical, and spiritual conversation about living and leading worship. Today's episode is brought to you by PraiseCharts. Worship leaders and pastors, are you looking for the best new worship songs to introduce to your church? From Phil Wickham to Elevation, Passion, and Maverick City, PraiseCharts has the latest ready to go. Whether you need chord charts, lead sheets, or full orchestrations, everything is formatted for your team and available for instant download. Stay current, save time, and lead with confidence. Check out PraiseCharts.com today and get your hands on the freshest songs for Sunday.
Well, hey, thanks so much for listening to the Worshipology podcast. This is a biblical, practical, and spiritual conversation. I'm excited because we got Ron Rawls on the podcast today. Say what's up, Ron.
What's up, y'all? So honored to be here, man.
Oh my gosh, the honor's mine, man. And dude, Ron, we met back in Nashville. When was that? I feel like it was ages ago, dude. Joel Buckner's project.
I was just about to say it was through Joel Buckner,
right?
Man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was that 2009, maybe?
It may have been, or even 2008. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And dude, Ron, you're the man. I mean, you're down in Florida now. You're at your fellowship church, worship pastor down there. But for, I mean, you've played keys and MD'd for artists like Mandisa, Nicole C. Mullen. You have definitely been all over the place as far as, I mean, Grammy and Dove Award, and we're going to get into all that fun stuff. But man, just for our listeners, just share a little bit of your story, bro. Like, how'd you get started in ministry and then playing with artists and all that stuff, man?
Yeah, man. Well, again, honored to be here, man. Just an honor to be a part of this. So yeah, I grew up in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents, my dad comes from a very musical family. His dad was a preacher, but also he sang, and all of his kids, they were all either singing or playing an instrument. So my dad sings, but he also plays keys, and his brother, one of his brothers, plays drums. So they both passed on their musical knowledge to me. So I play drums and I sing and play keys. And I just grew up doing that there at my little home church back in Huntsville.
Wow.
The pastor gave me a key to the church when I was old enough.
There you go.
Yeah, and they let me just cut my teeth there, man. I spent a lot of time there. And honestly, around the age of 12, I was able to go to a concert across town. So I wasn't serving, but I was just being able to be there. And that's where I gave my heart to the Lord. And I feel like I've just kind of watched my life. You know, it's not a straight line, but I've just watched my life just kind of be in the hand of the Lord. And I'm just grateful that for that spiritual legacy that was handed down from my parents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, speaking of legacy, man, like, obviously playing with Mandisa and MDN for her for such a long time. How did you get started, traveling and playing music with Mandisa?
Yeah, man. So honestly, it started serving at my church. I say that often because I know a lot of people that are really ready to just hit the road, and I get it. I too, I mean, me and my friends, we talked about hitting the road and traveling for many years, but it was in serving at my church. I moved to Nashville. I was serving at a church, studying at MTSU, studying music production there. And the church that I was serving at, Nicole C. Mullen's music director landed there. And she needed a keys player. And that's really where it started. I started playing keys for her. She gave me my start in like my professional start. And I was able to travel with her for many years. I say many years, several years. And then her career, she started doing the Women of Faith tours. And so she wasn't able to take a band. So things slowed down for her band while she was still busy. And right around that time, Mandisa was putting a band together. She was coming off of American Idol, and they were putting a band together for her first couple of shows. I was a part of that, and after a few shows, she asked a few of us band members to stick around, and I'm thankful. I've still been able to tour with her since then. Or, obviously she's passed now, but but I was able to tour with her for many years, and very grateful for my time with her.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about what does that look like as an MD for a band? And then, of course, now you're a worship pastor. So what's the kind of tie-in there? Like, I know, once an MD, always an MD kind of thing. And, with worship pastor, obviously you're pastoring musicians and singers, but to kind of have that understanding, I mean, you said you play drums and keys, and you got a great intimate knowledge as a producer of just how music works. So first off, what does an MD do? Maybe with a touring artist, and then how does that translate to an MD in the church context?
Yeah, I feel like the MD's role is to help facilitate the artist's vision, artist or worship leader, depending on your context. But you're helping facilitate whatever that person's vision is for that music ministry or that, that service, whatever that looks like. And so I honestly was always approaching it just from that servant's perspective. I really enjoyed really supporting both Nicole and Mandisa from that place. And both of them have clear visions for what they want their music to sound like and feel like. So it was easy to jump on board. Even if you disagreed with something, it was clear where they were headed. And so I'm grateful for those times. It really helped me, just to learn how to communicate, to learn how to figure out, okay, like me and Disa, she may throw out an idea and maybe it wasn't in musical terms, but she's just throwing it out. Well, then you're having to decode that for the band. And it was fun, to watch some of that come together. And you always know that you've kind of found your pocket when the artist is smiling or happy, jumping around. It's like, okay, we found it. So
we got it.
It was a good time, man. Yeah.
So you're kind of decoding, an artist's language for musicians in the band to really kind of wrap their head around the artist's vision. When you're finding yourself on that MD side in church, is it kind of like, are you more conveying like, okay, pastor, worship leader, congregation, are you kind of like that duct tape that's kind of trying to be sensitive and aware of everything that's going on? And if so, like, how do you do that without losing your mind, man?
So for me, I lead worship from there. Like, I'm obviously praying into my worship sets. And then from there, I'm building out the flow in Ableton, trying, being spirit led, but I try my best to really feel it out. And I'm building from that place. So obviously considering like, okay, pastor's preaching on whatever he's preaching on. So we have our songs, we know where we want to land, to at least marry one of the songs, or at least the last song. We want to marry it to where he's, what he's going to preach about. And so, okay, how do we get there? And, just weaving different things. But it does help that I've had that MD connection as far as just being able to, speak into transitions, speaking into what keys. I have all of our worship leaders. I have like a document that all of our worship leaders have come in and worked with me, and we've just found their range. So I usually check with them on what key we're going to be in, but I also have an idea like, okay, if they said we're going to, they prefer it in G, but the whole thing is in F sharp, well, I know that they can probably sing it a little lower.
Yeah.
And so, just making those decisions, it helps to be able to make those game time decisions.
Dude, let me pause you there because you just threw that out so nonchalantly, but I think that's a massive takeaway for anybody that's listening. You took time with each of your worship leaders and found their optimal range. Yeah. That's so huge because I think sometimes we'll hear a song, okay, like Jen Johnson or Cece, they're singing this song, and it's like, we can give it to, this singer who's, full-time mom and teacher, and then she's coming in here and just serving on the weekends. Like, we don't try to find what's best suited for our volunteers or for our leaders. Like, how did you go through that, Ron? And maybe what are some practical tips on finding that optimal range for your worship leaders and your singers?
Yeah, well, honestly, it was a care situation. I was honestly asking the Lord, how can I better care for my team here? And so we created just an onboarding process, and within that, part of onboarding specifically for leaders, vocal leaders, is they come in and they meet with me and we just sing through songs, and then I'll just push them like, okay, you sound great here. Let's sing it higher and let's keep going. Okay, now let's bring it down. Let's sing lower just to see, and I know that's not musical terms, but that's literally what I was doing, was just transposing the keys just to find their literal, max range. Yeah. And then I just make notes on it. Okay, so let's not pick any song where they have to sing a note higher than this. If they do, we're going to share that song, and someone else is going to take that bridge, or someone else is going to take, the verses or whatever. But yeah, it was really a part of trying to care for them, because not everyone can sing, as high as Phil Wickham, as much as I would love to. I cannot.
Oh, man. I have to drop his songs at least 3 keys, man.
I love it.
I love it. There was once upon a time where I could sing everything in D flat, but yeah, he gets up there, man. So talk to me a little bit about, okay, so that's with vocals, and I think that's amazing and brilliant. You know, when you're working with musicians, what does that look like? Like, say you audition a drummer and he shows a lot of potential, but maybe he's like an 8 out of a 10. Like, he's just got some growth steps to do. Like, what's your process for your musicians in getting them from the point of, I want to play on the team, to rocking it every Sunday?
Yeah. Tough question. And I don't know that I have, I don't know that I've figured it out. What I do here, basically we have pods. So there's a few guitar players that are coming up from students, and we just try to pod them up with someone that's older or more experienced musically.
Wow. And
they're helping raise them up. It's kind of like the newer version of how we grew up, because I grew up I'm just around it. There's 10 drummers and I'm just watching them play and I'm around it. Wow. And eventually I get the opportunity to play. That's how I grew up. But these days, the church is not, it's not configured that way. There's no space for, 5 drummers to sit behind the drummer, because everything is on a camera. It's a different day. Yeah. And so we're just trying to figure out how can we transport some of that passing on that musical knowledge or that musical legacy. How can we pass that on? And so that's what we're doing here. We're potting people up to help, train them and grow them. And then we have students services where we're able to practice a bit more. There's less pressure. So if it's a new drummer that's struggling, I'll set them up over there. We'll play in our student services. And I mean, the students, we want to be excellent, but also they don't care as much. They just want to have a good time, Yeah. And so it gives us the freedom to mess up. And so, We're starting there, and then we move them into the main sanctuary when they're ready. That's for drums, guitars, keys, bass.
So with those pods, is it kind of like the pods are meeting on a weekly basis, or is it just kind of like during a rehearsal, hey, get here 30 minutes early, or what does that look like, Ron?
Because our people are volunteer-based, it's really at their pace. So we allow them to set up their meetings. We suggest meetings, but we allow them to set it up or to engage as much as they can, and they're very as much as we can, we try to communicate, hey, you're here, and we see your improvement, let's keep working on it. And then once they hit certain benchmarks that are usually set by the pod leaders, so if Joe, that's a random name, but if Joe says that Mark is ready to go, then, we put him on the schedule and we try him out. But we're waiting to hear from those pod leaders. So that it keeps that pressure off of us being me, because as far as staff, it's just 4 of us. So that keeps that pressure off of us to make it happen, but we're just trusting and engaging our team a little bit there.
Okay, so you got a staff of 4.
Yep.
What are those roles that you're working with?
Yep, I'm the worship pastor, and then I have a worship leader / assistant. She's amazing. and then have an MD. I'll put him up against anyone. He's awesome.
Nice.
I love him.
Hey,
man.
if he's your MD, he's got to be phenomenal.
He's great, man. I love him. And then we have a second. We have a second location, and so we just put in a worship director over there, and so that's and then awesome. We also have our production guy. So I guess that's one more past 4, but yeah.
Dude, talk to us a little bit about what's the worship culture like at Fellowship Church.
Yeah, man. It is a great place. You said the worship culture.
Yeah, just what's the overall feel on a Sunday? Because I know you and I were talking before I hit record, just the fact that you come from such a rich background in gospel and then in touring, you've got that understanding of high excellence. What is that? How does that, are you still traveling right now, or is it like full-time worship pastor, your focus is fully there?
Full-time worship pastor, man. Like I'm still open to traveling, but it's slowed down quite a bit just with the demands here. So I'm really just here and then still producing. So I still have my studio in Nashville that I'll fly back and work here and there, but I am mainly here and happy about it.
Yeah,
very grateful, man.
Having all that background, I know obviously like this just such a ton of skills and mindset perspectives that you have coming into a worship pastor role.
Yeah.
How is that kind of evolved in the worship culture since you've been there at Fellowship Church, Ron?
Yeah. It's been beautiful, man. Just being able to see how worship really inspires people and hearing the stories every week. On the road, you step into a place, you get the emails, but on the road, it's a bit more disconnected. You can easily show up, set up, and this is no shade because I did it for years and I loved it. But you have the ability, if you don't, make good choices, to just roll into a place and never interact with anyone. Whereas here, you walk off the stage and the whole church is still right there. You're sitting on, whatever. You're sitting in your chair listening to your pastor preach right after service. People are coming up to speak about what they loved or hated about the songs you sang, for good or worse.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No, it's a very loving church. So I'm just
everybody's got an opinion in a big church.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. I'm just kidding. But seriously, like you can engage, you can hear the stories of how worship is transforming lives. And so, I love this culture. I feel like we are a blended culture. So my roots are gospel. But around my college time, I really started to connect with more modern worship. And here, most of the music is modern worship, but it's got sauce on it because, the gospel just flows out of me. So talk
to me about that. How do you throw the sauce on a song, Ron? Because this is I personally want to throw some more sauce on some songs.
Oh man, you are saucy, bro. I think it's just being yourself. Like to me,
that's good.
If I'm singing "House of the Lord," I know that I am not Phil Wickham, but I love the song, so I'm just gonna be myself singing it. Like our parts are there. We're using tracks. We love multitracks.com. I love it. But in production, I'll take some time and I may throw in some other keys parts that just kind of add a little more sauce for myself. And then I encourage that with the band. Like, hey, learn the songs, learn the parts. And then in rehearsal, how can we, just make it our own? And it just, I think that your natural musical tendencies just kind of flow out of you in music from that place. That at least that's how I've approached it. And so it's easy to cut that off, but I try not to cut that off. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna let it flow because that's who we are.
I love that, man. Dude, well, talk to us a little bit about like what rehearsal looks like because everybody has different ways of rehearsing. How have you found to have the most effective rehearsals, not just for executing the songs, but to really, find those moments where you can throw a little bit of sauce on it, where you can try this out, and if it doesn't work, that's fine. But what does a rehearsal look like to you, and how do you structure that, Ron?
Well, here, because it's a big church and we have limited time, our rehearsals we don't get as much time to be able to lean into that. So it's usually communicated ahead of time. Like our MD will say, hey guys, I was thinking about this. He'll send out like a little memo or a snippet of something that he's wanting to change. And then the early part of rehearsal would take a moment and work through that. And then we run through the whole set. So we try to give a little space at the top to work through changes or differences. And then towards the end of the set, we try to just pause for 10 minutes and just hang on something. If it's, whatever it is that we're running through, we just try to give space to where we're actually practicing the presence of God, and we're not just showing up on Sunday, just phoning it in. And so I really enjoy those moments. I live for those moments in rehearsal. I say 10 minutes, it may be longer, but we try to be intentional. Just to, not just run through songs, but to really spend time in his presence together.
I love that, man. And I think the more prepared you are before you get together, the easier those moments become. And the more, it's like, I just remember a long time ago hearing Paul Balash say, practice, practice, practice. So on Sunday, you can forget it all. Yeah. And I think like the more that you're prepared going into it, that's so interesting. Like the MD will send out just communication and really like streamline it so that like when you get there, what you're doing. I think that's a huge benefit to anybody listening, where it's like, man, we may only get 30 minutes to rehearse, but wow, if we could like utilize our Monday through Friday and say, hey, here's a quick voice memo, or here's something I'm experimenting with, or hey, here's a moment in the service where we can flow a little bit, like coming into it and realizing like you can kind of have a pre-rehearsal just through your communication, man. Do you find like, your producer mind has kind of lent towards the creativity element of your worship?
I feel like it definitely is. I feel like it's a blend. Because I get to use the production side in the studio, and then I just bring that to the stage. And even in producing records, like I feel like we are getting the opportunity to create portable worship experiences. And so I know that's at least that's how I view it. And so for me, even like knowing that this is going to be recorded and potentially like each Sunday, potentially we'd upload it and leave that, online. I want to make sure that it's a consistent experience for our church so that they can just walk right into the presence of God or be led right in to the presence of God. So yeah, we value our prep time here.
Dude, that's awesome. I saw a post, one of our campus worship guys shared this from John Thurlow, and it's like the idea of teaching your worship team to think like producers instead of just players, right? So it's like thinking about the whole band, the whole sound, how it's not just about your guitar part, or it's not just about like your vocal line here and there where you want to throw a run in, like, but to think as a producer. Unpack that a little bit, because I mean, it's not often I get to have a Grammy-winning producer on the podcast. And so unpack a little bit, like when you're producing a song, and maybe explain like in lay terms, like what is a producer's job for somebody who's like, what does a producer even do? Like, what is a producer's job? And then, as you're leading rehearsals and you're leading worship, like how does that producer mindset translate into what you do in the church context?
Yeah, well, honestly, I view the producer closely related to the MD and an expanded role. So for me, I start with the song. Do we have a song that's worthy of all this work we're about to put in?
That's good.
I mean, again, I've done it. I've worked on records where there were songs that I didn't love, but it was, to pay the bills, you got to work. Yeah. And I understand that. Very grateful for this season of life where I don't
slap some auto-tune on it.
Yes. I'm grateful in this season I don't have to do that as much, but I have. But as much as I can, I really try to push into the artist. Hey, is this song, can we beat this? I got that from Christy Nordoff. She says that a lot in her writing sessions. Can we beat that line? Can we beat that phrasing? And so I just really try to lean into there. Like, is there a better way we can say this? Or is this song ready to go? Once the song is ready to go, or once we have the right song, then do I, as the producer, have the artist's vision? Sure, I can create a vision for them if needed, but I love to just get into the artist's head. Hey, what are you feeling? What is the sound that you feel like the Lord has called you to release?
Wow.
Is it gospel? Is it modern worship? Is it a blend? Whatever that is. Just finding their sound. And then I try to create dummy tracks just to kind of reference things. I'm like, hey, this is not the final sound, but is this headed in the direction that you want? Once we have the vision, everything is clear, then I start to build the team and we execute. And it goes fast from there. Because I feel like once you have a clear vision, you're not, wasting your time. And things may change, but I feel like having that vision is clear. And that connects even for me with worship. Once I know if I'm not leading, but I'm the MD, once I have the artist clear vision for that worship set or that concert, then I can run. I do that here. Wow. Like I'm on the other side of that, but I'll create and get our stems ready, at least to the degree that I would like to see it flow, and then I hand that over to our MD and I let him go crazy, and he could just do whatever else he thinks needs to be done, and because he has my vision, he knows what we're going for at that point, and so I think it's healthy. I'm jumping around a bit, but I think it's important to have a healthy relationship with the MD and the artist, or the MD and the pastor, worship pastor.
That's so good, man. Dude, you threw out a phrase in there, finding your sound. Like you help the artist find their sound, or you help the church find their sound. I know there's so many churches who maybe they're in that season right now of like, maybe it's a new worship pastor or a new worship leader or teams that are, working together for the first season in a long time. And it's like, okay, how do we find our sound? What would you say to somebody who's kind of in that phase right now where it's like, and I even speak like from us here at Destination Church, just south of Richmond. I mean, like such a diverse church, such a wide range of experiences and styles in the room all the time. How do you dial in and just find your sound as a church?
Yeah, well, there's a few different ways you could do it. I mean,
okay.
There's one way of actually looking around and seeing who do you have? Like, who has the Lord blessed you with? Here, I have a ton of vocalists. And when I got here, we weren't active with our choir at that time. But I just realized like, oh, wait, we have all these vocalists and I don't have the ability to use every single vocalist as a leader every Sunday. But we can create a choir. We can create other vocal opportunities. And so that helped me to, engage people a bit more. But yeah, just looking around, like who has the Lord brought to your church? Is it, do you have Spanish speaking worship leaders? I do. And so it's like, I need to activate that instead of us only singing in English every week. Yes. And also paying attention to the landscape of your church. Right. Because as I'm looking at, out in the audience, okay, who's reflected here? I try to have that same thing reflected on the stage. And so just, being intentional, like it won't be perfect, but to me, that's how I feel like you start to begin to find your sound. And if you don't have those pieces, if it's just you and a few small, if you're in a smaller location, I don't think that that's any reason to hold back. I do think it's another opportunity to say, okay, how can I engage with where I am? And so you can bring in other pieces. We've done that a lot where, that particular team only had a great drummer, a great bass player. So we brought in guitars, we brought in other vocalists to help beef up the sound, particularly for a live recording. But
that's awesome. I think that's the key, right? Is like wherever you're at, that's where God's placed you. And so the key of finding your sound, I'll never forget, like when we were about to go into recording with Integrity Music back in my time at NCC in Washington.
Yeah.
And, we had 7 campuses, and with those 7 campuses, 7 worship leaders, and we're all in the room together. And, we're kind of working with the label, like, all right, find your sound. And we're just looking around the room, and, we got Joel Buckner, we got Carolina Soto, we got Dan Rivera, we got, Chris Douglas, and just so many great leaders in that room. And it was like, okay, I think this is our sound. It's like, sometimes it's like easier than you think. It's like just kind of everybody, the ingredients are here. Let's bake a cake, man. Like, let's do this thing, man.
I love that, man. Ingredients are here.
Dude, it's so fun, man. Oh yeah, just use the ingredients you have. And I think there's a lot of churches out there where maybe they're trying to find their sound, and they're trying to cook with ingredients that they just don't have in their cupboard, man. And it's like, embrace the season that you're in. And dude, Ron, I love it, man. I love just kind of hearing your heart. And what would you say? Obviously, like, you've done so many records, and I'm sure many live records in that. Give us some tips for, like, if there's a church out there who's like, yeah, we're thinking about doing our first ever live recording later this year. What do we need to know that maybe we're not thinking about right now? What would you say to them, Ron?
I would say don't overthink it. Like, yes, plan. Yes, make your request known before the Lord. All of the things. But if He's put it in your heart, don't overthink it. Just get started. And if you want to start writing, just jump in. There's many people that like Chrissy Nordoff. I love her. We've had her writing mentorships. That's a great place to start as far as, like, beginning to learn how to craft songs. If you're already writing songs, man, get some demos of those songs and start doing those songs in your church, just to get your church familiar with what you're doing, and just seeing, like, okay, this song connects with our church, or maybe we need to rewrite this verse or rewrite this bridge. Pastor said that this was a little theologically off. Like, I love involving our pastor in our songs. That's good. Just to help us make sure that we're, not, we don't want to be singing anything that's off. And so, but yeah, I think just going ahead and jumping in, and then taking some time to find a producer that you connect with. Maybe he's in the house. I'm a huge fan of looking at, again, what do you have in the house? Your producer may be right there. But then he may not. And there's plenty of producers that I know would love to connect with you. But find a producer and, just jump in.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah. Your church is waiting to hear your sound. And again, creating those portable worship experiences, people want to be able to turn on the music that they are singing on Sunday. They want to hear it again throughout the week. Maybe not everybody, but there are some people in your church that would love to connect with the music that's happening in that house. And so I think we have an opportunity to be faithful stewards over what God's given us in that way.
That's so cool, man. And if you wait for everything to be perfect, you're going to be waiting a long time. Man. So just jump in, give it a shot.
Yes.
You and I both know that's true.
Yeah, I will never meet that level of expectation that I want. But yeah, I'm grateful to just, I approach it from a gratefulness place. Like, okay, the Lord's given me these songs. I'm going to be a faithful steward and have fun in the process. I really do view, recording and singing and even leading worship on Sundays as fun, as serious as it is. Like, yes, it is a high honor and a high call, but it is also fun. And so I just try to enjoy all of that.
That's awesome, man. Well, Ron, dude, our time has flown by, man. I just I love your heart. I love your spirit, man. And I would just ask, what do you feel like the Holy Spirit's been speaking to you lately? Just something to share for our listeners that you feel like the Lord's really just been playing on repeat in your prayer life. What's the Holy Spirit speaking to you right now, man?
Bro, it has been. This is where I'm at right now. The Lord has just been encouraging me to continue to dig in His Word. Scripture says that His Word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. And so for me, that's where I'm at. Every day, I'm just trying to dig in to His Word. If it's finding a podcast that leads me to engaging His Word, if it's doing one of those 365 Bible plans, whatever it is, but just daily engaging His Word, because that is where we'll be able to connect, hear what He has for us, and then I feel like it informs and encourages our worship leading. I've seen my engagement in worship go deeper the more that I'm digging into His Word, and so that would be my encouragement. Yeah,
I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Well, dude, worship is only so good, but when you get worship in the Word, it's like peanut butter and jelly, man.
Let's go. I love it.
Ron, appreciate you, man. Dude, we're going to put some links in the show notes for people to just kind of connect with Ron and see what he's up to. But Ron, just appreciate you so much. Thanks for spending some time with us on Worshipology, bro.
Absolutely, man. My honor. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Worshipology with Kurtis Parks. To connect or learn more, visit kurtisparks.com. This episode was brought to you by your friends at PraiseCharts.com. Whether you need simple chord charts, lead sheets, vocal arrangements, full orchestrations, or stems, we've got it all ready to download instantly. Plus, their affordable bundles and flexible formats save you time and money, so you can focus on leading worship and not scrambling for resources. If you haven't checked them out yet, now is the time. Visit PraiseCharts.com and get everything you need for your worship team today.